The champagne glass shattered against the marble floor. Elena's body hit the ground seconds later. Pain exploded through her pregnant belly. She gasped. Her hands instinctively wrapped around her stomach, protecting the life growing inside. "You're nothing!" Marcus screamed above her, his face twisted with rage and alcohol. "You hear me? Nothing!" The party fell silent. 50 guests, designer dresses, diamond jewelry, empty souls. They all watched. No one moved. Elena's tears mixed with the champagne on the cold floor. Her white dress, the one she'd worn to make him happy, now stained and ruined. "Marcus, please," her voice broke. He grabbed her arm, yanked her up roughly. His fingers dug into her skin like claws. "Don't touch me with those pathetic tears," he hissed. His breath reeked of whiskey and lies. "You trapped me with that pregnancy. You think I wanted this? Wanted you?" She couldn't breathe. 6 months pregnant, alone, humiliated. "Get out," Marcus said. His voice dropped to something cold, something final. "Get out of my sight before I do something we'll both regret." Elena stumbled backward. Her legs barely held her weight. She looked around the room. At the faces she'd once called friends. At the women who'd smiled at her baby shower last month. No one met her eyes. She ran, through the penthouse doors, into the elevator, down to the underground parking garage. Her heels clicked against concrete. Her sobs echoed in the empty space. She didn't see the black SUV until it was too late. 2 men stepped out, professional, silent, dangerous. "Mrs. Romano?" one of them said. His voice was smooth, too calm. Elena froze. "Who are you?" "We're here to help you." "I don't need—" The world went dark before she could finish. Somewhere across the city, in a penthouse that touched the clouds, a man watched multiple security screens. Dante Moretti, the name that made politicians nervous, that made criminals pray. He sat in shadows, a crystal glass of whiskey in one hand. His other hand rested on the arm of his leather chair, relaxed, but ready for violence. His eyes never left the screen showing Elena's collapse. "Bring her to the estate," he said quietly. His secretary, Victor, nodded. "She's pregnant, sir. This complicates things." "I know exactly what she is." Dante's jaw tightened. Memories flickered behind his dark eyes. Memories he'd buried for 15 years. A little girl with bright eyes and a flower crown. A promise made in blood and innocence. A debt that was finally coming due. "Prepare the east wing," Dante said. He stood, his 6'3" frame unfolding like a weapon. "And Victor?" "Yes, sir." "If anyone asks about her, anyone at all, they disappear." Victor's expression didn't change. He'd worked for Dante long enough to know what disappear meant. "Understood." Dante walked to the floor-to-ceiling windows. The city sprawled beneath him like a kingdom. He'd built an empire from nothing. Clawed his way up from the gutters where his father had left him to die. Now, at 32, he controlled half the city's underground. Arms deals, real estate, information, power. But power was lonely, and Dante Moretti was the loneliest man alive. He'd loved once, 15 years ago, before the scars, before he became the monster everyone feared. His phone buzzed. A message from Victor. "Package secured, en route." Dante's reflection stared back at him from the dark window. Sharp jawline, cold eyes, a face that women dreamed about and men had nightmares over. He touched the scar on his left cheekbone, a reminder of the night that changed everything. The night he lost her. "Welcome home, Elena," he whispered to the glass. His fingers curled into a fist. Some debts could only be paid in the dark. Elena woke to silk sheets and confusion. This wasn't her apartment. She sat up slowly. Her hand immediately went to her belly. Still there. Still moving. Thank God. Where the hell was she? She tried to stand. Her legs wobbled but held. A door opened. Elena's breath caught. A man stepped inside. Tall. Powerful. Beautiful in a way that felt wrong. He wore a black suit that hugged his muscular frame. His dark hair was perfectly styled. His eyes were darker, almost black in the dim light. But it was his face that made her freeze. That scar, that jawline, those eyes. "No," she whispered. He smiled. It didn't reach his eyes. "Hello, Ellie." Only one person had ever called her that. "Danny?" Her voice cracked. Danny Moretti? His smile widened. Not Danny anymore, Angel. He stepped closer. Just Dante now. Her childhood friend, her first love. The boy who'd vanished the night his father was murdered. You're alive, she breathed. Unfortunately for some people, yes. He stopped inches from her, close enough that she could see the scars on his knuckles. Why am I here? Elena asked. Fear mixed with something else. Dante reached out. His fingers traced her cheek, gentle despite the violence she knew lived inside him. Because you're mine, he said softly. You always were. I'm married. I'm pregnant. You were married to a man who threw you on the floor. His voice dropped to something lethal. Who hurt you in front of 50 witnesses. Elena's heart hammered. What did you do? Dante's smile turned sharp. Nothing yet. He leaned in. His lips brushed her ear. But ask me again tomorrow. He pulled back and walked to the door. And Elena? She couldn't speak, could barely breathe. Don't try to leave. My guards have orders to keep you safe. His eyes locked onto hers. From everyone, including yourself. The door closed with a soft click. Elena collapsed onto the bed, her mind spinning. Danny Moretti was alive, and he'd just kidnapped her. Elena didn't sleep. How could she? The boy she'd loved at 13 was now a man who commanded fear, like others, commanded respect. Her phone was gone, her purse, everything. She was trapped. And the worst part? A small, twisted part of her didn't want to leave. The door opened without a knock. Dante entered carrying a silver tray. Fresh fruit, croissants, orange juice. He'd changed. Black t-shirt, dark jeans. Casual, but still dangerous. You need to eat, he said, for the baby. Elena's hand went to her stomach protectively. How do you know about... I know everything about you, Ellie. He set the tray on the bedside table. I've known where you were for 15 years. Her blood ran cold. You've been watching me? Protecting you. He turned those dark eyes on her. There's a difference. That's insane. Maybe, he shrugged. But you're still alive, aren't you? Elena's mind raced. 15 years. He'd been watching her for 15 years and never said a word. Why? She asked. Why now? Why take me? Dante was quiet for a long moment. He walked to the window, his broad shoulders blocking the morning light. Because I made a promise, he finally said. The night my father died. The night I had to disappear. Elena remembered that night. She'd been 13. Danny had been 14. He'd shown up at her window at midnight, bleeding and terrified. I have to go, he'd told her, tears streaming down his young face. They'll kill me if I stay. Who? She'd cried. Danny, who? Everyone. He'd kissed her forehead. I'll come back for you, Ellie. I promise. When I'm strong enough. When I can protect you. Then he'd vanished into the night. She'd never seen him again. Until now. You promised you'd come back, Elena whispered. 15 years later? Dante turned. His expression was unreadable. It took me 15 years to become powerful enough. He stepped closer. To become someone who could keep you safe from men like Marcus, from men like my father, from the entire goddamn world. I don't need... Yes, you do. His voice cut through her protest like a blade. You needed it tonight when your husband threw you on the floor, when he humiliated you, when 50 people watched and did nothing. Shame burned through Elena's chest. He was right. She'd been alone, helpless, broken. What do you want from me? She asked quietly. Dante's jaw tightened. Everything. Later, Victor appeared at the door. Sir, we have a situation. Dante's expression shifted instantly, from almost human to pure predator. Marcus Romano is making calls, Victor continued. Looking for his wife. He's involving the police. Elena's stomach dropped. Marcus is irrelevant. Dante's voice was ice. Handle it. And if he persists? The silence that followed made Elena's skin crawl. Then handle him permanently, Dante said softly. Victor nodded and left. Elena stared at Dante. You can't just kill people? He raised an eyebrow. Angel, I've killed more men than you've met. One more won't keep me awake. He's my husband. He's a mistake. You were always supposed to be mine, Ellie. His thumb brushed her bottom lip. That night 15 years ago, when I kissed you goodbye, I swore I'd come back for you. Elena's breath hitched. We were children. I haven't been a child since the moment I saw my father's blood on my hands. The rawness in his voice broke something inside her. She saw it then, the boy she'd known, still trapped inside this dangerous man. What happened that night, Danny? She whispered. Pain flashed across his face. Dante, he corrected. Danny died with my father. Tell me. He pulled away, walked to the window, his shoulders tense. My father owed money to the wrong people, he said finally. The Volkov Bratva, Russian mob. He gambled away everything, including his life. Elena listened, her heart breaking. They came for payment. He had nothing to give. Dante's voice was hollow. So they took it in blood. Made me watch while they tortured him. Made me hold the gun when they forced me to... He stopped. Couldn't finish. Elena's hand covered her mouth. I was 14 years old, Dante continued. And I murdered my own father because they said if I didn't, they'd kill you next. They'd kill your family. Everyone I loved. Tears streamed down Elena's face, so I pulled the trigger. He turned. His eyes were wet, but no tears fell. And then I ran. Spent 5 years on the streets learning how to survive, how to fight, how to kill. He walked toward her, each step measured. I clawed my way up from nothing, built an empire, became more powerful than the Bratva, than anyone. He stopped in front of her. All so I could keep that promise I made you. Elena couldn't speak, couldn't breathe. So yes, Angel. His fingers threaded through her hair. I've been watching you. Until Marcus, she whispered. Dante's expression darkened. I let you marry him because I thought he'd make you happy. Thought maybe you deserved normal. Safe. His grip tightened slightly, possessive. I was wrong. Elena's pulse raced. She should be terrified, should be screaming. But all she felt was heat. Dangerous, forbidden heat. What happens now? She asked. Dante's smile was pure sin. Now, you stay here, under my protection, in my home. And Marcus? We'll never touch you again. His lips hovered over hers, close enough to taste, close enough to burn. You're mine now, Elena Romano. His voice was a dark promise. And I don't share. He pulled away before she could respond, left her standing there, burning, confused, terrified, and undeniably, dangerously aroused. That night, Elena woke to screaming. She bolted upright, her heart hammering. The screams came from somewhere in the estate. Male, agonized. She threw on a robe and ran into the hallway. Guards tried to stop her. Ma'am, please return to your room. She pushed past them, followed the sounds down marble stairs, through corridors lined with priceless art, down to a basement she shouldn't have found. The door was steel, reinforced, built to keep secrets. It was cracked open. Elena pushed inside and froze. Marcus hung from chains in the center of the room, blood dripping from cuts on his face, his shirt torn, his eyes wide with terror. Dante stood in front of him, sleeves rolled up, knuckles bloody. A knife glinted in his hand. Please, Marcus begged. Please, I'll give you anything. Dante's smile was terrifying. You have nothing I want. That's when his eyes found Elena in the doorway. For a moment, the monster disappeared, replaced by something almost human, almost ashamed. Ellie, he said softly, you shouldn't be here. Elena stared at her husband, at the man she'd married, at the man who'd thrown her on the floor. Then she looked at Dante, at the monster, at the protector, at the boy who'd kissed her 15 years ago and promised to come back. Don't stop on my account, she heard herself say. Dante's eyes darkened with something primal. Marcus's screams echoed through the basement, and Elena didn't flinch. Elena returned to her room. Her hands were shaking. Not from fear, from something else entirely. She'd just watched Dante torture her husband, and she'd felt nothing. No sympathy, no horror, just cold, empty satisfaction. What was happening to her? She sat on the edge of the bed, her pregnant belly a constant reminder of the life she'd built, the life that was crumbling. The door opened an hour later. Dante entered. He'd showered, changed. No trace of blood remained, but Elena could still see it, could still hear Marcus's screams. He's alive, Dante said quietly. If you're wondering. I wasn't. His eyebrow raised. No? Elena met his gaze. He threw me on the floor, told me I trapped him, humiliated me in front of everyone we knew. She stood, walked toward him. So no. I wasn't wondering if he's alive. Her voice was steel. I was wondering if you made him suffer enough. Dante's eyes flashed with something dark, something hungry. You're not afraid of me, he observed. I'm terrified of you. But? Elena stopped inches from him. But you're the only person who's protected me in years. The only one who saw me hurting and actually did something about it. His hand came up, cupped her face with surprising gentleness. You've changed, Ellie, he said softly. The girl I knew was all sunshine and innocence. That girl died when the boy she loved disappeared. Elena's voice cracked. When no one came to save her from a marriage that was slowly killing her. Dante's jaw clenched. I'm here now, 15 years too late. The words hung between them. Sharp. Painful. You're right, Dante admitted. His thumb stroked her cheek. I should have come sooner. Should have stopped you from marrying him. Why didn't you? Because I'm not a good man, Elena. His voice dropped. I'm violent, dangerous. I destroy everything I touch. He leaned in, his forehead resting against hers. You deserved better than me, he whispered. You still do. Elena's hands came up, gripped his shirt. Then why take me now? Because watching him hurt you broke something inside me. Dante's eyes burned into hers. And I'm selfish enough to keep you anyway. Their lips were a breath apart. Elena could feel his heartbeat, fast, unsteady, human. I'm pregnant with another man's child, she reminded him. I don't care. People will talk. Let them. His hand slid into her hair. I've built an empire on fear and blood. A little gossip won't destroy me. This is insane. Yes, you're insane. Probably. Elena's breath hitched. We can't. We already are. His lips captured hers. Finally, after 15 years of waiting, of wondering, of dreaming, the kiss was everything, soft and brutal, gentle and consuming. Dante kissed her like she was oxygen, like she was salvation, like she was the only thing keeping him human. Elena melted into him, her hands gripping his shoulders, her pregnant belly pressed between them. When he finally pulled back, they were both breathing hard. This doesn't solve anything, Elena whispered. I know. I'm still married. Not for long. Elena's eyes widened. What did you do? Dante's smile was wicked. Victor's handling the paperwork. By tomorrow, Marcus Romano will have signed divorce papers, a restraining order, and a very generous NDA. He'll never agree. He already did. Dante's fingers traced her swollen lips. Turns out, men become very cooperative when faced with creative persuasion. Elena should protest, should be horrified. Instead, she asked, what kind of persuasion? The kind involving offshore accounts disappearing if he doesn't comply. Dante's eyes gleamed. And the kind involving pieces of him disappearing if he ever contacts you again. Elena's heart hammered. You're a monster. Yes, he kissed her forehead, but I'm your monster now. The next morning, Elena woke to voices outside her door. Absolutely not! A woman's voice. Sharp, angry. You can't keep her here like some pet. Watch me, Dante's voice, calm but deadly. Elena wrapped herself in a robe and opened the door. A stunning woman stood in the hallway. Late 20s, designer clothes, cold, calculating eyes. So this is the pregnant stray you picked up, the woman said, looking Elena up and down with obvious disdain. Careful, Natasha, Dante warned. Natasha. Elena recognized the name. Dante's business partner, rumored ex-lover. She's a liability, Natasha continued. Married, pregnant, vulnerable. You're making a mistake. The only mistake here is you thinking you have a say in my personal life. Dante's voice dropped to something lethal, something that made Elena's skin prickle. Natasha's jaw clenched. We had an agreement. We had business, Dante corrected. Nothing more. Natasha's eyes flashed to Elena. Pure hatred. You think you're special? She hissed. You think he'll keep you when he gets bored? I've seen him discard dozens of women. Enough. Dante stepped between them. Leave, now. Natasha's laugh was bitter. Fine. But don't come crying to me when this blows up in your face. She turned on her heel and left. The hallway fell silent. Elena's heart raced. Is she right? Dante turned. About what? About you. About this. Elena gestured between them. Is this just another obsession that'll fade? Dante crossed the space in 2 strides, backed Elena against the wall. His hands braced on either side of her head, caging her. You want to know the truth? His voice was raw. I've been obsessed with you since I was 14 years old. Since the moment I kissed you goodbye and promised to come back. His lips brushed her ear. I've built an empire just to be strong enough to protect you. Killed men who even thought about hurting you. Watched you from the shadows for 15 fucking years. He pulled back, his eyes burning. So, no, Angel. This isn't a phase. This isn't boredom. His hand cupped her face. You're the only thing I've ever wanted that wasn't soaked in blood and violence. Elena's breath caught. Danny! And if anyone, including Natasha, tries to take you from me, his smile was pure danger. I'll burn the entire city down. That afternoon, Victor appeared with documents. The divorce papers are signed, he announced. Marcus Romano is officially cooperative. Elena took the papers with shaking hands. Her marriage, her past, all reduced to signatures and legal jargon. He agreed to everything, Victor continued. Custody rights, financial settlement, NDA. He won't bother you again. How did you convince him? Elena asked. Victor's expression didn't change. Mr. Moretti was very persuasive. Elena looked at Dante. At the man who'd orchestrated her freedom with threats and violence. She should be disgusted. Instead, she felt liberated. Thank you, she whispered. Dante's eyes softened, just slightly. You never have to thank me for protecting you? Victor cleared his throat. There's one more thing. Mr. Romano has been asking questions. About the baby. About custody. No. Elena's voice was firm, final. He doesn't get to claim this child, she said. Not after everything. Dante's hand found hers, squeezed gently. He won't, Dante promised. I'll make sure of it. Dante lifted her hand, pressed a kiss to her knuckles. Surviving, he said. Together. That night, Elena couldn't sleep again. She wandered the estate, through hallways lined with art worth millions, past guards who nodded respectfully. She found herself in Dante's office. The door was open. He sat behind a massive desk, paperwork spread before him. He looked up when she entered. No surprise, like he'd been expecting her. Can't sleep, he asked. Too many thoughts. Dante leaned back, gestured to the leather couch. Want to talk about them? Elena sat, her pregnant belly making her movements awkward. Do you ever regret it? She asked. The life you chose, the things you've done. Dante was quiet for a long moment. Every day, he finally admitted. But regret doesn't change the past. It just haunts the present. He stood, poured 2 glasses of water, brought one to her. I've done terrible things, Ellie. He sat beside her. Things that would make you run screaming if you knew the details. Tell me. Why? Because I need to know who I'm trusting with my life. With my baby's life. Dante's jaw clenched. I've killed 43 men, tortured dozens more, run guns, drugs, information, built an empire on fear. He looked at her, his eyes hollow. I'm not a good man, he repeated. I'm exactly what the world made me. Elena reached out, took his hand. The world made you survive, she said softly. That's not the same as being evil. Dante's expression cracked, just slightly. You still see the boy I was, he whispered. I see both. Elena squeezed his hand. The boy who promised to protect me, and the man who kept that promise. Dante pulled her close, held her like she was precious, breakable. I don't deserve you, he murmured into her hair. Probably not. Elena smiled against his chest. But you have me anyway. They sat like that, in the quiet, in the dark, 2 broken people finding comfort in each other's shadows, until Victor burst through the door. Sir, we have a problem. Dante was on his feet instantly. What? The Volkov Bratva. Victor's face was grim. They know Elena's here, and they're coming. The estate transformed within minutes. Guards doubled. Weapons appeared. The casual luxury became a war zone. Dante moved through it all like a general. Calm, controlled, deadly. Elena watched from the window of her room. Armed men positioned around the property. Black SUVs blocking the gates. This was his world. Violence wrapped in expensive suits. The door opened. Dante entered with Victor. Pack a bag, Dante ordered. Small. Essential items only. What's happening? The Bratva found you. Dante's voice was clipped. Professional. They're using you to get to me. Elena's blood ran cold. Why? Because I destroyed their operation in the city. He moved to the closet, started pulling clothes. Took their territory, their money, their power. He threw a bag on the bed. And because 15 years ago, I killed one of their princes. Elena's hand covered her mouth. Your father wasn't innocent. Dante's expression was stone. He was working with them, double-crossing them. That's why they killed him. He packed with military efficiency. And I've spent 15 years building an empire strong enough to face them, to finally end this. So why run? Dante stopped, looked at her. Because you're here now. His voice softened. And I won't let them use you as leverage. Victor spoke up. The safe house is ready, fully stocked, off-grid. They won't find her there. Good. Dante zipped the bag. Elena goes tonight, full security detail. No. Both men turned. Elena stood her ground. I'm not running while you fight my battles. This isn't your battle. You made it mine the moment you brought me here. Her voice rose. You said I was yours, that you'd protect me. Well, I'm choosing to stay and fight with you. Dante's jaw clenched. You're pregnant, vulnerable. I'm not helpless. Elena crossed her arms. And I'm tired of men making decisions for me. First Marcus, now you. This is different. Is it? She stepped closer. Or are you just another man trying to control my life? The words hit their mark. Dante flinched. That's not fair, he said quietly. Neither is shipping me off like cargo while you handle the danger. They stared at each other. Two stubborn forces colliding. Finally, Dante ran a hand through his hair. If you stay, you follow my rules. No arguments. Deal. You stay in the safe room during any conflict. Fine. And if I tell you to run, you run. No looking back. Elena hesitated, then nodded. Dante pulled her close, kissed her forehead. You're going to be the death of me, he murmured. Better me than the Russians. The Bratva arrived at midnight. Elena watched from the security room. 6 black vehicles, maybe 20 men, armed, dangerous. Dante stood at the front gates, alone, fearless. A man stepped out of the lead vehicle, tall, blonde, cold eyes. Alexei Volkov, Victor muttered beside Elena. The current Pakan, leader of the Bratva. On screen, Dante and Alexei faced each other. No audio, but their body language spoke volumes. Alexei gestured angrily. Dante remained still, unmoved. Then Alexei pulled out a phone. Showed Dante something on the screen. Dante's entire body went rigid. What is he showing him? Elena asked. Victor's expression darkened. Nothing good. Dante's hand moved to his weapon. Fast, deadly, but he didn't draw. Instead, he turned, looked directly at the security camera, directly at Elena. Even through the screen, she felt the intensity of his gaze. Then he walked away, back into the estate, leaving Alexei standing at the gates. Minutes later, Dante burst into the security room. His expression was murder. They have Isabella, he said flatly. Elena frowned. Who's Isabella? Victor and Dante exchanged looks. My sister, Dante finally said. My half-sister, daughter of my father's mistress. Elena's world tilted. You have a sister? Had. Dante's voice was hollow. I thought she died 15 years ago. Turns out the Bratva has been holding her hostage, as insurance. He slammed his fist against the wall. They want me to surrender myself in exchange for her life. Elena's heart hammered. You can't. I have to. No! Elena grabbed his arm. It's a trap. They'll kill you both. Probably. Dante's smile was bitter. But she's my blood, my responsibility. She's leverage, Victor argued. They're using your guilt against you. I don't care. Dante's voice rose, raw, broken. I let my father die. I won't let her die too. He pulled away from Elena, headed for the door. Dante, please. Elena followed. There has to be another way. He spun, cupped her face. You asked me earlier if I regret my choices. His eyes burned into hers. I regret a lot of things, but I won't regret trying to save her. He kissed Elena, hard, desperate, final. Stay here, he whispered against her lips. Stay safe. Raise your baby. Forget about me. I won't. You will. He pulled back, because that's what survivors do. Then he was gone. Elena stood there, frozen, shaking. Victor touched her shoulder gently. He's doing what he thinks is right. He's going to die. Maybe. Victor's expression was grim. Or maybe he'll do what he does best. Which is survive against impossible odds. Elena waited in agony. Hours passed, no word, no updates. She paced the security room, watched empty screens, felt her baby kick inside her, a reminder of life in the midst of potential death. Finally, headlights appeared on the monitors. One vehicle, coming fast. Elena's heart stopped. The SUV crashed through the gates, careened up the driveway, stopped violently at the front entrance. The driver's door opened. Dante stumbled out, covered in blood, barely standing, but alive. Elena ran, downstairs, through hallways, ignoring Victor's protests. She reached the entrance just as Dante collapsed. No, she dropped beside him. No, no, no. His eyes opened, unfocused but alive. Told you to stay inside, he rasped. Shut up. Tears streamed down Elena's face. You're bleeding everywhere. Flesh wound. Multiple flesh wounds. Dante's bloody hand reached up, cupped her face. Isabella? Elena asked. Safe. His smile was weak. Got her out. They didn't expect me to bring backup. What backup? Everyone who owes me favors. He coughed, blood on his lips. Half the city's underground showed up. Turns out, destroying the Bratva's empire made me some allies. Elena's hands shook as she tried to assess his injuries. You need a hospital. No hospitals. Too many questions. Dante struggled to sit up. Victor, get the doc. Guards appeared, helping Dante inside. Elena stayed beside him every step. They brought him to his bedroom, laid him on the bed. His white shirt was now crimson. How bad? Elena demanded. Bullet grazed his shoulder. Knife wound to his side. Multiple contusions. Victor's voice was steady, but his hands weren't. He'll live. He always does. A gray-haired man rushed in with a medical bag. No introductions, just immediate action. Everyone out, the doctor ordered, except... He glanced at Elena. You can stay. Elena gripped Dante's hand as the doctor worked, cut away his shirt, cleaned wounds, stitched flesh. Dante never made a sound, just held Elena's hand like an anchor. Where's Isabella? Elena asked quietly. Safe house, different one. Dante's voice was rough. Victor will watch her. I want to meet her. You will. His thumb stroked her knuckles. When this is over. When will that be? Dante's eyes found hers, exhausted but honest. I don't know. The Bratva won't forgive this. Tonight was just the opening move. Elena's chest tightened. So this never ends? War never ends, Angel. It just changes shape. The doctor finished, bandaged Dante's wounds, left medication and instructions. Dante fell back against the pillows. Gray, drained. You should rest, Elena said. Stay. His grip on her hand tightened. Please. Elena climbed onto the bed beside him, careful of his injuries. He pulled her close. Her pregnant belly pressed against his uninjured side. I thought I lost you, she whispered. Not today. Dante's lips brushed her forehead. Not ever if I can help it. You can't promise that. No. His voice was raw. But I can promise I'll fight like hell to stay alive. For you. For that baby. For us. Elena looked up at him. At this dangerous, broken, beautiful man. I think I'm falling in love with you, she admitted. Again. Or maybe still. I don't know anymore. Dante's eyes widened, just slightly. You can't, he said. But there was hope in his voice. Desperate, fragile hope. Too late. Elena smiled through tears. I've loved you since I was 13. Apparently that doesn't just go away. Dante pulled her closer, buried his face in her hair. I've loved you longer, he whispered. Since the moment you let me hide in your treehouse when my father was drunk. You gave me cookies and asked if I was okay. Elena remembered. They'd been 12. No one had ever asked me if I was okay before. Dante continued, his voice breaking. You were the first person who saw me as something other than damaged goods. You're not damaged, Elena said fiercely. You're surviving. I'm both. They lay there in the darkness. Two wounded souls finding healing in each other. When this is over, Dante murmured, half asleep now. When the Bratva is gone, I'm going to marry you properly. Elena's heart skipped. What? Heard me. Elena's heart skipped. What? Heard me. His words were slurring. Gonna give you everything. Should have had 15 years ago. You're delirious from blood loss. Probably. His arms tightened around her. Doesn't make it less true. He fell asleep mid-sentence. Elena stayed awake, listening to his breathing, feeling her baby kick. This dangerous, impossible, beautiful mess of a situation, and she wouldn't change it for anything. Morning came with complications. Elena woke to find Dante's side of the bed empty. Fresh blood on the sheets. She panicked, ran through the estate in her nightgown, found him in the security room with Victor, standing, moving, like he hadn't been bleeding out 12 hours ago. You should be resting, Elena shouted. Dante turned, smiled despite the obvious pain. Good morning to you too, Angel. Don't angel me, you have stitches. 43 of them. He gestured to his bandaged torso. I counted. This isn't funny. Victor quietly excused himself, left them alone. Dante limped toward Elena, cupped her face. You're beautiful when you're angry, he murmured. You're infuriating when you're reckless. He kissed her, soft, gentle, disarming. I need to work, he said against her lips. The Bratva isn't going to wait for me to heal. Let them wait. Can't, he pulled back, but I have something for you. What? Someone. Dante gestured to the monitor. She's downstairs in the library. Elena's heart raced. Isabella? He nodded. The library was massive. Floor-to-ceiling books, expensive furniture, morning light streaming through tall windows. A young woman stood by the window, early 20s, long dark hair, delicate features. She turned when Elena entered, and Elena gasped. She looked like Dante, same eyes, same sharp cheekbones, same haunted expression. You must be Elena, the girl said quietly. American accent with hints of Russian. Dante's told me everything. Isabella? She nodded. Bella, please. Only my captors called me Isabella. Elena crossed the room, extended her hand. Bella looked at it, then at Elena's pregnant belly, then back to her face. You're the girl from his childhood, Bella said softly. The one he talked about. During those first years when he'd visit. Elena frowned. Visit? The Bratva let him see me, once a year, for 1 hour. Bella's voice was hollow. They said if he behaved, if he did what they wanted, I'd stay alive. Elena's blood ran cold. They used you to control him? For 15 years. Bella walked to the couch, sat down carefully, like she was afraid the furniture would hurt her. He built his empire for 2 reasons, to protect you, and to free me. She looked up at Elena. He never forgot either of us. Elena sat beside her. What did they do to you? Nothing physical. That would have broken Dante completely. Bella's smile was bitter. They were smarter, kept me isolated, comfortable but caged. Let me see him once a year so he'd remember what he was fighting for. Tears streamed down her face. I've spent 15 years in a gilded prison, and I don't know how to be free. Elena pulled her into a hug. This broken girl, Dante's sister. Another casualty of his father's mistakes. You're safe now, Elena whispered. Am I? Bella pulled back, her eyes haunted. Dante killed Alexei last night. The entire Volkov family will come for revenge. Then we'll face them together. Bella stared at her. You really love him, don't you? Yes. Even though he's dangerous? Even though everything he touches turns to blood? Elena thought about that, about the violence, the danger, the impossible situation. Maybe I love him because of it, she admitted. Because he's dangerous enough to protect me, broken enough to understand me. Bella's expression softened. He deserves someone like you. After everything, he deserves something good. The door opened. Dante entered. He looked between them, relief washing over his face. You're both still here, he said. Where else would we go? Bella stood, walked to her brother. You saved me, again. Dante pulled her into a careful hug, mindful of his injuries. I should have done it 15 years ago, he said into her hair. You were 14. You did what you could. Bella pulled back. But now we end this, properly. We? Her eyes hardened. They took 15 years of my life. I want revenge. Dante's expression shifted. Proud but concerned. It's dangerous. I've lived in danger my entire life. Bella's voice was steel. The difference now? I get to fight back. Elena watched them. Brother and sister. Both forged in fire. Both survivors. So what's the plan? Elena asked. Dante and Bella exchanged looks. The Bratva will regroup, Dante said. They'll come for all of us. Harder, faster, messier. So we strike first, Bella finished. How? Elena asked. Dante smiled. It was terrifying. We give them exactly what they want. Me. The plan was insane. Dante would surrender himself. Draw out the remaining Volkov leadership. Meanwhile, Bella and Victor would infiltrate their headquarters. Plant explosives. Destroy their records, their money, their power. And Elena? Elena was supposed to stay safe, hidden, protected. She hated it. I should be helping, she argued for the 10th time. You're pregnant, Dante repeated, also for the 10th time. Your job is to stay alive. They stood in his office. War plans spread across his desk, weapons laid out like tools. My job is whatever I decide it is, Elena shot back. Dante's jaw clenched. I can't focus on the mission if I'm worried about you.
Then don't worry. I'll always worry. His voice rose, raw. You're carrying a child, Elena. My child now, as far as I'm concerned. If something happens to you, if they hurt you. He stopped, breathing hard, pain in his eyes. I can't lose you again, he whispered. I barely survived it the first time. Elena's anger melted. She crossed to him, wrapped her arms around his waist. You won't lose me, she promised. I'll stay here, stay safe, let you do what you need to do. Dante held her tight. Thank you. But when you come back, she looked up at him. When this is over, we talk about our future, properly. No more running, no more hiding. Deal? He kissed her deep, passionate, like he was memorizing her taste. When he pulled back, his eyes were wet. I love you, Ellie, he said. The first time he'd said it out loud in 15 years. I've always loved you. I love you too, she whispered. Come back to me, Danny, promise, I promise. They left at dawn. Elena watched from her window. Dante, Bella, Victor. 30 of Dante's best men. Black vehicles disappearing down the driveway. Into danger. Into possible death. She placed a hand on her belly, felt her baby kick. You're almost, Daddy is going to do something incredibly stupid, she told the bump. But he's doing it for us. For all of us. Hours passed. Elena tried to read. Couldn't focus. Tried to eat. Couldn't stomach food. Tried to rest. Couldn't close her eyes. She paced the estate like a ghost. Guards watched her with sympathy but said nothing. Finally, her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. Roof, now come alone. Elena's blood ran cold. She should tell the guards. Should stay put. but something made her climb the stairs, through hallways, up to the roof access. She pushed open the door. Natasha stood there, Dante's business partner, former lover. "What are you doing here?" Alina demanded. Natasha turned. Her expression was unreadable. "Saving your life," she said simply. "What? This whole plan, it's a trap." Natasha stepped closer. "Not for Dante, for you." Elena's heart hammered. "That doesn't make sense. The Bratva doesn't just want Dante dead. They want him destroyed." Natasha's voice was urgent. "They know his weakness. You. They let him walk into this mission because his entire security team is with him." Horror dawned, leaving me vulnerable. Natasha grabbed Elena's arm. "They're coming now. You have maybe 5 minutes before." Explosions rocked the estate. The gates, the walls, the guards. Natasha cursed. Too late. "They're already here." She pulled Elena toward the roof access. "There's a helicopter, private landing pad on the west wing. We can." Gunfire erupted below. Screaming, chaos, death. "We have to move." Natasha dragged her forward. They ran through the estate, smoke filling the hallways. Guards fighting, dying. This was it, the final move. The Bratva's revenge. And Dante wasn't here to protect her. They reached the helicopter pad. The pilot was already running the engines. "Get in." Natasha pushed Alina toward the door. Alina climbed inside, Natasha right behind her. The helicopter lifted off just as armed men burst onto the roof. Bullets pinged off the metal. Alina screamed. Natasha cursed. But they were airborne, rising, escaping. Alina looked back at the estate, her temporary home. Dante's kingdom, burning. "Where's Dante?" she shouted over the noise. Natasha's expression was grim. "Walking into hell, just like they planned." The helicopter flew for 30 minutes. Elena's mind raced. Dante was in danger. Isabella too. Everyone she'd come to care about. And she was running. Again. "Where are we going?" Elena finally asked. Natasha sat across from her. Calm, despite everything. "Somewhere they can't find you," she said. "A place even Dante doesn't know about." Elena's instincts screamed. Something was wrong. "Why are you helping me?" she asked carefully. Natasha's smile was cold. "Because, despite what you think, I'm not a monster. Dante and I may have history, but I don't want you dead." "That's not an answer. It's the only one you're getting." The helicopter began descending. No lights below. Just darkness and forest. They landed in a clearing. Isolated, remote. "Out," Natasha ordered. Alina climbed down carefully, her pregnant belly making movement awkward. A cabin stood in the trees. Small, rustic, no other buildings in sight. "Inside," Natasha said. "You'll be safe here." Alina turned. "What about Dante?" "We have to warn him. He already knows it's a trap. He walked into it anyway." Natasha's expression was unreadable. "That's who he is. That's who he's always been. Then we have to help." "We can't." Natasha's voice was flat. "All we can do is survive. And hope he does too." Meanwhile, across the city, Dante walked into hell, the abandoned warehouse district, where his father had died 15 years ago. Full circle. Poetic. He entered the main building alone. As agreed, no weapons visible, no backup apparent. But appearances were deceiving. "Dante Moretti," a voice echoed through the empty space. "You've caused us considerable trouble." A man stepped from the shadows, mid-50s, hard eyes. This was Dmitry Volkov, Alexei's uncle. The real power behind the Bratva. "You killed my nephew," Dmitry continued. "Destroyed our operations. Freed our prisoner." "Your prisoner was an innocent girl," Dante said calmly. "My sister. You held her hostage for 15 years. Leverage," Dmitry shrugged. "Nothing personal. It's always personal when you hurt my family." More men emerged from the shadows. 20, 30, all armed. Dante didn't flinch. "You're outnumbered," Dmitry observed. "Am I?" Dante raised his hand. Snapped his fingers. The warehouse exploded with movement. His men, hidden in the rafters, behind crates, in the shadows. 50 against 30. And Dante's men were better trained. Gunfire erupted. Chaos, screaming. Dante moved through it like a ghost. Fast, efficient, deadly. He'd trained for this moment for 15 years. Every skill, every technique, every ounce of rage focused on one goal. Ending the bratva. Ending the nightmare. He reached Dmitri as the old man tried to flee. Grabbed him by the throat. Slammed him against a concrete pillar. You should have stayed in Russia, Dante growled. Dmitri spat blood. Kill me. 10 more will take my place. Not if I burn your entire organization to the ground. Dante's fist connected with Dimitri's face. Once, twice, 3 times. All the rage, all the pain, all the years of torment poured into each blow. This is for my father, Dante said. Punch. This is for Isabella. Punch. This is for every innocent life you destroyed. Punch. Dmitri collapsed, broken, bleeding. Dante stood over him, pulled out his gun, and this is for Elena. He fired once, clean, final. The Pakan fell. The Bratva's leadership died with him. Around them, the fighting stopped. Dante's men stood victorious. Bella appeared from the shadows, covered in dust and determination. The records, Dante asked. Destroyed. Along with their weapons, cash, and money supply. She smiled. They have nothing left. Victor joined them. The estate. Dante's expression darkened. What about it? Under attack. They hit it 10 minutes ago. Victor's face was grim. Elena was there. Dante's world stopped. Natasha got her out helicopter. But we lost the signal. Dante didn't wait to hear more. He ran. Back at the cabin, Elena paced. Something wasn't right. Natasha had been on the phone for 20 minutes. Speaking Russian. Quiet but intense. Elena's instincts screamed. She moved toward the door, slowly, casually. Going somewhere, Natasha asked. Phone lowered. Expression cold. I need air. Sit down. It wasn't a request. Elena's heart hammered. What's going on? Natasha stood, pulled a gun from her jacket. Nothing personal, she said, echoing Dimitri's words. Just business. Elena's blood ran cold. You work for them. The Bratva worked. Natasha's smile was bitter. Past tense. They promised me Dante's empire if I delivered you. You're going to kill me. No. Just hold you. Until Dante trades himself for you. Natasha shrugged. Then they'll kill you both. And I'll take control of everything he built. Elena's hands went to her belly. Protective. Desperate. Please, she whispered. I'm pregnant. The baby has nothing to do with this. The baby is leverage. Natasha's expression didn't change. Just like Isabella was. History repeating itself. Elena's mind raced. She needed to stall, to think. Dante will know, she said. He'll figure it out. Too late, Natasha gestured to the window. He's walking into an ambush right now. The warehouse was a distraction. The real trap is at the old Volkov estate. Elena's world tilted. Isabella is probably dead by now. Along with most of Dante's men. Natasha's voice was matter-of-fact. It's over, Elena, you lost. No. The voice came from the doorway. Dante stood there, covered in blood. Eyes burning with rage. You lost the moment you betrayed me, Natasha. Natasha spun. Gun raised. Dante was faster. He disarmed her in 2 moves. Brutal. Efficient. She hit the floor hard. Dante kicked the gun away. Stood over her with cold fury. I trusted you, he said quietly. Deadly quiet. You were weak, Natasha spat. You let sentiment cloud your judgment. This woman, she gestured to Elena. She made you vulnerable. She made me human. Dante's voice was steel. Something you never understood. He pulled out his phone. Victor, I have her. Send cleanup. He ended the call. Looked at Elena. Are you hurt? Elena shook her head. Tears streaming. I thought you were dead. Dante crossed to her. Pulled her into his arms. I promised I'd come back. How did you find me? Tracker in your bracelet. He touched the delicate silver chain he'd given her days ago. I wasn't taking chances. Elena laughed through tears. You put a tracker on me. I put trackers on everything I love. He kissed her. Desperate, relieved, alive. What about Isabella? Elena whispered against his lips. Safe. The warehouse ambush was my plan. We fed Natasha false information. Dante smiled, proud. Bella's tougher than she looks. She led half the attack team herself. Elena's relief was overwhelming. So it's over. Almost. Dante glanced at Natasha. One more loose end. Victor and 2 men arrived within minutes. Took Natasha away. She didn't beg, didn't plead, just stared at Dante with cold hatred until she disappeared into the night. What happens to her? Elena asked. Nothing good. Dante's expression was grim, but nothing she doesn't deserve. He pulled Elena close again, held her like she might vanish. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm sorry I brought you into this. Sorry I put you in danger. Stop. Elena cupped his face. You saved me, protected me, kept your promise. I almost got you killed, but you didn't. She smiled. We survived, together. Dante's eyes were wet. Together. He dropped to his knees, pressed his forehead against her pregnant belly. I swear on my life, he said to the baby. I will protect you both forever, no matter what. Elena's fingers threaded through his hair. I know you will. They returned to the estate at dawn. The damage was extensive but repairable. The guards who'd survived were already cleaning up. Isabella met them in the foyer, bruised but victorious. It's done, she said simply. The Bratva is finished. Their leadership is dead. Their resources are gone. Dante pulled his sister into a hug. You were incredible. I learned from the best. She pulled back, smiled at Elena. Both of you. Elena took Bella's hand. Thank you. For fighting for us. You're family now. Bella squeezed gently. That's what family does. They stood together in the damaged foyer. 3 survivors. 3 fighters. 3 people who'd found family in the ashes of trauma. What happens now? Elena asked. Dante looked around. At his empire. At the cost of survival. Now, he said slowly, we rebuild. Better, different. He turned to Elena. I meant what I said. When this was over, we'd talk about our future. And Dante smiled. Actually smiled. And I want that future, with you. With the baby. With something that isn't just violence and survival. Elena's heart soared. What are you saying? I'm saying he got down on one knee. Marry me, Elena. Not because you're trapped here. Not because you have nowhere else to go. But because I love you. Because you're the only good thing I've ever had. He pulled out a ring, simple, beautiful, perfect. Marry me, and let me spend the rest of my life proving I'm worthy of you. Elena's tears fell freely. Yes. God, yes. He slipped the ring on her finger, stood, kissed her. Isabella cheered. Victor smiled from the doorway. And for the first time in 15 years, Dante Moretti felt something other than rage. He felt hope. 3 months passed. The estate was rebuilt. Stronger, safer, beautiful. Elena's belly had grown. 8 months pregnant now. Any day, the doctor said. She walked through the gardens with Bella. Morning sun, fresh flowers, peace. How are you feeling? Bella asked. Like I swallowed a watermelon, Elena laughed. But happy, really happy. Bella smiled. She'd changed to therapy, training, finding herself after 15 years of captivity. Dante's been different, Bella observed. Softer, more human. He's trying. Elena touched her belly. For us, for the baby. For himself too, I think. Bella watched birds in the fountain. He spent so long surviving. Now he's learning how to live. They reached the rose garden. Elena's favorite spot. Dante waited there, in a suit, nervous. Today was the day. Their wedding. The ceremony was small, private, perfect. Just family, Victor, a few trusted friends. The priest. Elena wore white. Simple but stunning. Her pregnant belly making her even more beautiful. Dante couldn't take his eyes off her. When she walked down the makeshift aisle through roses and sunshine, his breath caught. This woman, this impossible, beautiful, strong woman, was choosing him. Despite everything. Despite the violence. Despite the danger. She was choosing love. You look beautiful, he whispered when she reached him. You look terrified, she whispered back. I am. He took her hands. Terrified I'll wake up and this will be a dream. It's not a dream. The priest began. Words about love, commitment, faith. Words Dante had never thought he'd hear applied to him. Do you, Dante Moretti, take Alina? I do. He didn't wait for the full question. I absolutely do. Laughter, tears, joy, and do you alone? I do. Her smile was radiant. Forever. Dante slipped a ring on her finger. She did the same. You may kiss your bride. Dante pulled Alina close, kissed her like she was air, like she was salvation, like she was everything. When they pulled apart, everyone cheered. Ladies and gentlemen, the priest announced, Mr. and Mrs. Moretti. The reception was intimate. Dancing, music, happiness. Dante held Alina close on the makeshift dance floor, swaying slowly. Thank you, he whispered. For what? For seeing past the monster? For loving the man underneath? Alina looked up at him. You were never a monster, Danny. You were just a boy who learned to survive. And now you're a man learning to love. She smiled. I think that's braver. Dante's eyes were wet. I don't deserve you. Probably not. Alina laughed. But you have me anyway. He kissed her forehead. Forever. Forever. That night, Alina woke to contractions. Sharp. Intense. Unmistakable. Dante gripped his arm. He was awake instantly. What's wrong? The baby? It's coming. Chaos erupted. Dante transformed. From nervous husband to efficient protector. He called the doctor, prepared the medical suite, held Elena's hand. Breathe, he coached. Just breathe. Easy for you to say. Alina gasped through another contraction. You're not pushing a human out of your... I know. You're doing amazing. Hours passed. Long, painful, beautiful hours. Bella paced outside. Victor made coffee. Everyone waited. Finally, at dawn, a baby's cry echoed through the estate. Dante's hands shook as the doctor placed the tiny bundle in his arms. A girl. Perfect, healthy, beautiful. She's here, he whispered. Tears streaming. She's really here. Alina smiled weakly from the bed. Exhausted but glowing. What should we name her? She asked. Dante looked down at his daughter. At this perfect, innocent life. Hope, he said softly. Her name is Hope, because that's what she represented. Hope for a better future. Hope for redemption. Hope for love. He carefully placed Hope in Elena's arms, watched his wife hold their daughter, and Dante Moretti, the man who'd survived hell, finally felt whole. Months passed. The estate became a home, not a fortress. A home. Hope grew, laughed, brought light into every corner. Dante changed, stepped back from the violent parts of his empire, focused on legitimate business. He'd never be completely clean. His past ensured that, but he could be better. For Alina, for Hope, for himself. One evening, they sat on the terrace, Hope asleep in Elena's arms. Sunset painting the sky. Do you regret it? Elena asked quietly. Leaving that life behind? Dante considered. No, that life kept me alive. But this, he gestured to his family. This makes me want to live. Even though it's complicated. Even though people still fear you. Let them fear me. Dante's smile was gentle. As long as you love me, always. Bella joined them. She'd moved into the guest house. Started a foundation for trafficking victims. Found purpose. Hope sleeping? She asked. Finally, Alina laughed. She fought it for an hour. She's stubborn. Bella smiled. Like her parents. They sat together, family, found and chosen. Victor appeared. Sir, there's a situation. Handle it, Dante said, without looking away from his daughter. But sir, Victor. Dante finally turned. Unless someone's dying, it can wait. This is family time. Victor's expression softened. Understood. He left. Alina squeezed Dante's hand. Look at you. Delegating, growing. Don't get used to it. But he was smiling. I'm still dangerous when necessary. I know. Alina leaned against him. That's why I feel safe. Hope stirred, made a small sound. Settled back into sleep. Dante watched her with wonder. I never thought I'd have this. A family, a home, peace. Do you have peace? Alina asked. Serious now. Dante thought about that. About the nightmares that still came. About the violence that lived in his bones. Not completely, he admitted. But I'm learning. With you, with Hope. I'm learning that peace isn't the absence of darkness. It's finding light despite it. Alina kissed his cheek. Wise words from a dangerous man. I have a wise wife. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the sunset, holding their daughter. To broken people who'd found healing in each other. One innocent child who represented their future. And a sister who'd survived her own hell to stand with them. What do you think happens next? Bella asked. Dante looked at his empire. At the city he controlled. At the life he'd built from ashes. I think, he said slowly, we live, we love, we protect each other. He looked at Alina in hope, and we prove that even people born in darkness can find light. Alina smiled, tears in her eyes. I like that plan. Good. Dante pulled them both close. Because you're stuck with me now, forever, Alina teased. Forever, he promised. And this time, it was a promise he intended to keep.